Good day, everyone. So today we are going to talk about risk. So we are going to look at four types of risk, or four types of the measure of risks, right? So far we have been talking about variance as a measure of risk for a very long time. And for this first video, we are going to talk about the first three measures, which is variance, semi-variance, and the shortfall probabilities, right? Shortfall probability. And then on the next video, we will talk about value at risk. So the first one is variance, right? So we use variance to measure risk for a person who has a quadratic utility, as we have already spoken before. When you are trying to minimize your risk, it's the same as trying to maximize your quadratic utility. Hence, we can make that association that if a person has a quadratic utility, then you are able to use variance to measure their risk, or to measure the risk that they are exposed to. So there are two equations that you can use, the one for discrete and the one for continuous. So for one for continuous, for example, it would be like this. And then you would have x minus x bar multiplied by the distribution function of x dx. So this is what you can use for your discrete value of risk. And then here you can for continuous, and then for discrete you will have xi minus x bar p xi. So for discrete, you're just gonna multiply squared. So all of them are supposed to be squared. So this is what you're gonna use to measure risk variance for a person who has a quadratic utility. For a person that is quadratic, who has a quadratic utility below the mean but not above, you can use semi-variance, more especially a downside semi-variance. This is the DSV, downside semi-variance, because investors are not necessarily deterred by the upside variance. What if they tell you that, well, there are two investments, the other one is very volatile. It's very volatile because there's a possibility that you can make a return at 1,000,000%, like 1,000,000 per percent. So therefore, it stretches the volatility, right? But that is not necessarily a deterrent. What you are mostly concerned about is the deviation below the mean. Below the mean, because the upside is a good thing for you actually. The more volatile it is from the upside, it's fine. But if it's volatile below the mean, then it is a problem, because it means that when you lose, you tend to lose more. But if it's volatile above the mean, you tend to win more if you win. See, again, those are the two different, right? So when you are going to use semi-variance, you use it because the person is quadratic above, below the mean, and has a linear utility above the mean. There is a problem with the shortfall. With the semi-variance of returns, right? Is that it has its own benchmark, which is the mean. What if you wanna measure below your own benchmark? What if you wanna say my losses are going to be below 0%? So what then? So that's when you are going to use shortfall probability. So the shortfall probability measures the probability below your own specified benchmark, right? So you'll be able to find what is the loss below a specified benchmark, like below L, or below your own benchmark. As you can see, it measures the probability. It is a probability. It is not the deviation from the mean, but it is the probability, right? So, and then from here on, we spoke about other things. Like we looked at few examples, and you can see our example that I sent you on the PDF. So if you have questions for the first three measures of risk, you can send them to me, then I will try to answer you to the best of my knowledge.